On a quiet street where the mornings always seemed the same, something extraordinary was happening long before anyone realized it. It began the day a single father named Daniel knelt beside an unfamiliar woman's wheelchair, tightening a loose strap so she could safely cross the street. He thought it would be a one-time gesture, just a passing moment of kindness between strangers. But fate had woven his mornings into hers long before he understood why. And what she eventually told him on a day he never saw coming would change both their lives in ways neither could have predicted. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of small good deeds, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Everyday Heroes. It truly helps the channel reach more hearts. Every morning at 7:40 a.m., Daniel walked his 10-year-old daughter, Lily, to school. He cherished these walks, their little jokes, her stories, the way she held his arm because she still felt small enough to do so. Raising her alone wasn't easy, especially after losing his wife 3 years earlier, but being Lily's dad gave his life structure, purpose, and warmth that kept him moving. One morning, he noticed a woman struggling at the curb outside the pharmacy. She looked to be around his age, her blonde hair gently curled, her hands gripping the wheels of her chair as though they weighed more than usual. Her right knee was braced, her posture tense with the effort it took to maneuver. Daniel didn't hesitate. He asked Lily to wait beside him while he helped stabilize her chair, guide her down the small incline, and adjust the brake. The woman thanked him softly, and he simply nodded, assuming their paths wouldn't cross again. But the next day she was there again, and the next and the next. Soon it became a ritual. Daniel would guide Lily across the crosswalk, then rush back to assist the woman with her wheelchair, lifting small bags from the pharmacy, adjusting her foot supports, or simply giving her a few encouraging words. Some mornings she smiled. Some mornings she looked exhausted, but she was always there. And strangely, Daniel began structuring his mornings around that moment. He didn't know her story, her struggles, or even her name. Yet, helping her had become a quiet anchor in his day. Lily noticed it too. She'd stand nearby, hands folded behind her back, her smile warm and gentle as she waited for her dad to finish helping. She didn't complain, didn't rush him. She understood her father's heart better than most adults. One rainy morning, when the streets were slick and gray, the woman's wheel caught on a crack in the pavement. Daniel rushed to steady her just as she tipped slightly to the side. The fear on her face was unmistakable, and he felt something inside him twist. He held her hands a moment longer than usual, making sure she was steady before letting go. Still, she never offered more than a small thank you. The truth was, Daniel didn't need more. Kindness didn't always need stories or explanations. It simply needed willingness. Weeks passed, trees changed colors, and morning routines became woven like quiet threads between strangers. But everything shifted one Friday when the woman asked Daniel if he could wait a moment before leaving. Her voice trembled slightly as though she'd been building courage for days. She looked up at him, her eyes gentler, more vulnerable than they'd ever been, and said words he never expected. She said she knew exactly who he was. Before Daniel could understand what she meant, she explained that 3 years earlier, when he lost his wife in an accident, the emergency team included her younger brother. He had come home shaken that night, telling her about a man who held his little girl in his arms and whispered promises that he'd never let her world fall apart. Her brother told her he'd never seen a father fight so hard to stay strong for his child. She had remembered that story ever since. What she had never expected was that this grieving father from her brother's memories would one day be the same man who helped her every morning without ever knowing who she was. Daniel stood frozen, a mix of shock and gratitude washing through him. Lily stepped closer, sensing something important was unfolding. The woman continued, explaining that she'd recently suffered a spinal injury and had been feeling hopeless, defeated, and alone. Watching Daniel show up every morning, not for praise, not for recognition, but simply because it was who he was, gave her courage she hadn't found anywhere else. His kindness had reminded her that she wasn't a burden, that she wasn't invisible, and that people could show up for one another even without knowing the whole story. Then she said the words that truly shifted something inside him. She told him that he was the reason she began physical therapy again. She told him that seeing him care for his daughter with such devotion made her believe she could rebuild her life too. And she told him that the world needed men with hearts like his, and that he had changed her life without ever realizing it. Daniel felt tears rise, something he rarely allowed himself to feel in public. All this time, he thought he was simply helping someone through her morning routine, never realizing he had been carrying someone through their hardest season. As the morning sun rose behind them, soft and pale, the three of them stood quietly on the sidewalk, connected by stories, by loss, by resilience, and by the unexpected power of kindness. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Everyday Heroes. It truly supports the channel and helps bring more real emotional stories to the world. Before we end, tell us in the comments. Have you ever helped someone without knowing how much it meant to them? In the end, Daniel walked Lily to school with a lighter heart, realizing that sometimes the smallest actions echo far beyond the moment, and sometimes the people we help quietly carry pieces of our story too. Thank you for watching Everyday Heroes.